Okay, hey, my name is Taylor Royal. Um, this is for my final project, and I just wanted to walk everyone through the classroom I had created over the course of the semester and a few edits that I made along the way based on what I had learned. To start off, I traditionally, my degrees within middle grades education, fifth grade science and social studies, was the class that I taught when I was teaching, and because I felt very familiar with that subject and I had a lot of reference points for the research that I based everything on of from my time frame doing that, I decided to go in and make a classroom based around those subjects. To start off, naturally, there's an introduction here, asking students like, let's get to know each other. Tell me one thing about yourself, maybe something that happened over the summer. Cool. What we're going to be focusing on is plant cells and animal cells. For lesson one, we started off with plant cells. First thing, always, you'll have your standards and your objectives for the unit. We're following S5L3. We're going under Georgia standards. We're talking about how to develop a model, identifying labeling parts of a plant. Then we have the actual broken down versions, so the objectives for the students. I personally like using SWABOT. Students will be able to. So students will be able to identify the five major organelles of a plant cell. Students will be able to describe the functions of a cell wall, membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and chloroplast. And students will demonstrate understanding by successfully completing a quiz and interactive practice activities. So first off, I have a cell introduction. In the cell introduction, I'm basically telling them, hey, get ready, we're in the unit. I made sure to highlight that we're talking about plant and animal cells. For this portion, however, I make it identified that we're only talking about plant cells. Now, instead of going off and getting deep into the content, I thought it'd be fun to have them listen to the cells rap. It was something that my students loved. It's something I hear referenced quite often, and I thought it'd be an entertaining way to get the students into it. So the first thing they had to do was watch the video about cells. Directly after that, there is a discussion post. It's the very first thing. It asked them what do they know about cells, but I gave them a little precursor. If they need to, they could go back and watch the video, but I just need them to tell me one thing they got out of the cells video uh, that they learned when it came down to cells. What are the functions of the organelles? Now, I tried to make this easy. Um, it's not that diff. It's very simple context. What makes up a plant cell? Well, we go ahead and we highlight the three organelles, and we go ahead and let them know that they share these same organelles with animal cells a little bit ahead of time. The cell membrane, the cytoplasm, and the nucleus. They also have two extra parts, which is their cell wall and chloroplast. All together, I name all five organelles, and next to it, they have the corresponding definitions. I'm a big fan of using word walls. So once clicked on, it takes them to a little word wall on another page, and they'll be able to sit here and connect the organelles to the matching plant cell. After that, I have a cell diagram. I wanted to pre-establish the definitions and the explanations, but this is just something to reference on their own. I'm unable to click on it right now, but they're able to open this, look at it, and they'll always have a reference on their main page without them having to go too far of an image of a plant cell. I have a cell video. I know we have students who are more visual, extra auditory. I know there's a lot of text in between. So I made sure that there was a video linked into this that the students can go watch. It's 2 minutes. There's actually a series of them, but they're talking about plant cells. It has closed captioning, everything involved for those students to use who does need the text to go with the video. I also have additional practice in here. We've talked about the definitions and we've talked about how they match up onto the plant. Since we already had a plant matcher word wall up top, I wanted one that talked about the definitions for the organelles. So this time, instead of just looking at the image, they're going to match it up with the definition. Now they're allowed to play with these word walls as much as they want to. That's why I like to have them available versus me just making a quiz. But they're allowed to continue to play around and reference and use all this context in here before they go in and they take the plant cell quiz that I have added into the assignment. Now, this quiz right here is what I'm actually going to use for the students to learn, and that's how I'm gauging. But they have plenty of opportunity to play with the word walls and check back and watch the videos they feel for extra help before they take this quiz. And that will wrap up the plant cell section. Immediately following plant cell, haha, you would think it might be a little less content because we covered the bulk of it in plant cell. No. Animal cell, we still need to take our time. We're going to have our standards back up here again. We're going to talk about how the students are going to be identifying animal cells and reminding them this the standard, this is what we're looking at. Starting off, I make it very clear. I don't like trying to confuse my students by explaining that there's more. I really try to key in on the focus that right now there is only 3. You don't need to know any more than 3. There are 3 animal cells or 3 organelles in an animal cell, and it's a nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane. That's it. And to include that in there, I gave them a little practice. Same thing, not crazy. We have our 3 organelles, and we line it up with our plant cell. Boom, boom, boom. They got to practice. They got to see the image. They're good. I have the similar image involved. I have our 3 organelles on our plant right here. And then I have a video. Because again, even though I have the context up here, I would still like to give them a reference. This is some of the same video series that we saw above, but this time it's animal cells instead of plant cells. Now, comparisons. This is where things might get a little more tricky, but this is why I give an opportunity to learn individually about both of them. When you click on it, we have ourselves a word wall, my handy dandy one. It will show you our organelles and I'll let you place, because it's very specific, structures is found only in plant cells versus structures found in animal and plant cells. I want to make sure they understand that there are shared ones, but plant cells are the ones who have the exceptions. A quick check for understanding is there. This allows at least for 2 picks involved. Pick the 2 organelles that can be found in a plant cell, but not in an animal cell. I have this placed under the animal cell one, just because now we've gotten through all our content for the animal cell. They should have a better understanding. It didn't feel fair to place this question in the plant cell section just because we have not opportunity to really delve in deep what specifically stays in animal cell. So this one is just a quick gauge. Everyone has an opportunity. Hopefully we see majority of our 2 corresponding ones, which should be this chloroplast and cell wall. Now we get into the nitty gritty. I had their animal cell project instructions. On here, I talked to them about how they will be creating their own animal cell and how they get to choose how they want to make it. This assignment counts as a project grade. It speaks about how they have one of 2 ways to do each part. The first step is choosing their project. You must choose one of the following. Option A, a paper animal cell. You get to create a colorful animal cell on a construction paper, and it must include the nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane. All parts must be colored and labeled. Option B, Minecraft animal cell. You create a large animal cell inside of Minecraft. Your cell must include the cell membrane on an outer boundary, the cytoplasm on an inside space, and the nucleus in the inner structure. They're going to label each part, whether it's using signs, item frames, or by labeling a screenshot. And then they get to choose their presentation method. This is entirely based on what they're comfortable with. They may present the completed animal cell in one of these 2 ways. Option 1, you can present it to the class, show it on construction paper of your cell or your Minecraft screenshot / video and explain each part. Or you can use Padlet. This gives the students an opportunity to record themselves and talk about what they've learned. So they can record themselves through Padlet, show off their cell model, and upload it on the Padlet board. They must show all three parts and explain their functions. And there's an opportunity of extra credit involved in this assignment. Bonus opportunity: if you notice everything above only referred to animal cells, they can do the same exact thing, but for plant cells, they do a plant cell model in addition to their animal cell. It must include the cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and chloroplast. Same instructions, you can either create it on paper or Minecraft. Below that, based on the option they picked, they're given two separate instructions. So if you prefer the Minecraft animal cell virtual option, it goes in a little more in depth. It reminds them, hey, you need to talk about this and where should it be. You're explaining your cell must be large enough to walk around or look inside. Each part must be visually clear and recognizable. The three parts you may use could be signs, item phrase, screenshots. And next to that, I've included a rubric specifically showing the drawing assignment. I need accuracy, labels, the use of color, neatness, effort, and presentation. And I break down what the amount of points will equivalent to by making it very clear on what they need to look for when they're at making this cell. Option two. Option two, looks like there's less up here, but that's because it's not really much to explain. They're going to be provided with construction paper. They'll be able to draw out the nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. And there's a rubric added for this one as well. The rubrics are similar but different just because now we're getting the drawings. So I need to see a nice use of color because I need differentiation. Accuracy, I'm looking for more pinpoint fineness just because they're drawing this out and not writing. And not creating in Minecraft, not doing blocks. And in presentation, I want it to look nice. These are the ones I'll actually be able to hang up around my classroom. So I look for students to actually make sure these look visually appealing because I would like to set these out. And that wraps up the two lessons that are present here. Now, this is my personal summary, and I wanted to add visuals to go with it, which is why I made it integrated into the classroom, just so it'd be easier. Just so it'd be easier for us to view as I go along. Okay. So we're in viewing mode. So starting here, summaries. Mayer's 12 multimedia principles, step by step on how they're involved in each individual one. And I'm just going to read along, and I have a visual for you as well. The coherence principle. People learn better when extraneous information, such as words, pictures, or sounds, is excluded. If you notice throughout the section, I made everything pretty much straight to the point. I didn't want any extra images. I didn't want any extra words. If I did have images, there was different slides for it. So the application of videos and slides only included essential information about cell organelles and avoided unrelated content. Next is the signaling principle. People learn better with cues highlighting organization of essential material. I made sure to highlight keywords like nucleus, cytoplasm, and cell membrane. Certain definitions, just anything that keyed in. Only pick one option. You don't have to do two. The redundancy principle. So people learn better from graphics and narration. The cell videos narrate the organelle functions while showing diagrams rather than putting all the text on the screen. Spatial continuity. Made sure that there was large print and labeled diagrams for reference. Temporal continuity principle. People learn better with corresponding words. And pictures, the videos show an organelle while the narration explains its function at the same time. A segmenting principle, people learn better when content is presented in learn control segments. I made sure there was multiple tabs and broken it down into small chunks so students know what they're looking for. So introduction, video, discussion, diagram, practice, quiz, assignment options. Pre-training principle. People learn better when they know the names and characteristics of key concepts first. Students learn organelle names before diving into complex diagrams and comparisons. Before I started teaching, I showed them the video. Despite them may not know anything in that video, I gave them a precursor and I gave them the opportunity to go back and keep listening to it. Because maybe they don't understand what it means specifically just yet. They know when they get the definition for it, what they can key back into. Modality principle. People learn better from graphics and narration than from graphics and printed tests. Those videos describe organelles verbally, and instead of just displaying text on the screen. The text is really for those who need assistance as the video is going along. Multimedia principle. There was a variety of different ways and things that they could look at. So diagrams, images, interactive word walls, and then explanatory text. Personalized principle. People learn better when words are in conventional style rather than a formal style. So the videos are kid-friendly and conversational, including the text I added in there when you're going from assignment to assignment. When I first talk about, hey, we're talking about sales. Without further ado, let's go. Using conversational tone in a way that doesn't make them less interested. Voice principle. Students learn better when narration is spoken in human voice than machine voice. Those videos are spoken in a more of a human, kinder tone. Image principle. People do not necessarily learn better when an instructor's image is on the screen. My face, and there's no face in any of those videos because that's not what they were there to key into. And if anything, I would have found it distracting myself. UDL in practice. In designing this course, I intentionally applied the 3 principles of universal design for learning to support our learners for representation. I provided multiple ways for students to access information, including videos, diagrams, label images, and written text, so learners could choose the format that best helped them understand cell structures and functions. For action and expression, students were given multiple ways to demonstrate their learning, such as completing quizzes, participating in discussion posts, creating a paper animal cell model, or building virtual Minecraft cells, allowing them to work from strengths and interests. For engagement, I incorporated activities that motivated students through creativity and choice, like the Minecraft project or the interactive word wall games, and discussion questions that encourage peer interaction. These strategies ensured that all students, regardless of learning style or ability, could access, interact with, and express their understanding of the material in meaningful ways. In conclusion, when I started this assignment, my focus was on designing an online learning environment that was easy to navigate, visually appealing, and offered different ways for students to learn, including audio, visual, and hands-on activities. I felt proud of my initial classroom design because I thought it had met the needs of diverse learners. However, as the course progressed, I realized accessibility goes beyond learning styles. Some students needed adjustments for keyboard navigation or text clarity, which made me think more deeply about applying universal design for learning principles. Projects like the Minecraft plant cell assignment really showed me the value of giving students choices, whether digital or paper-based, so that they can work from their strengths. At first, I felt confident and proud of my design, but I also felt surprised and humbled when I noticed areas that had overlooked accessibility. The reflection motivated me to rethink my approach. I also felt energized seeing students engage creatively with my assignments, which confirmed how important flexibility and choices are. Using technology in creative ways, like the Minecraft project, really highlighted how you can make concepts that seem impossible feel achievable. The experience connects my previous focus on clear navigation and organization and teaching, and to my belief that there isn't a single right way to learn. It also reinforces UDL principles, which encourage multiple ways for students to see, do, and engage with content. Peer collaboration, inspired by social constructivist theory, provided valuable too, especially by students who benefit from support when reading or processing new information. And that will conclude my project. I thank you for the opportunity, and I'm grateful for all the things I've learned over the course of this semester.